Welcome to the Paws Perspective.
The podcast where we help dog owners feel calmer, clearer and more confident by understanding what's really going on behind their dog's behaviour.
We're Pat and Molly from Flying Paws Dog Training, and each episode we break down behaviour, training and real life challenges in a way that actually makes sense.
From puppies and adolescents, breed traits and everyday training struggles, we focus on working with your dog's instincts, not against them.
Whether you're trying to prevent problems before they start or you're feeling stuck and not sure what to do next,
you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, clip on the lead,
and let's get into today's episode.
Well, good afternoon and welcome back, Molly. What's happening?
Not too much. What's happening with you?
Well, I haven't got a dog on my knee like you have.
Yeah, he's pushing me away from the microphone, actually.
What are we going to have a chat about today?
We're going to talk about something that we discuss a lot, don't we?
Yep.
In classes, a lot in one-on-one sessions. And it's something that I think it's fair to say we're both a big passion topic of ours.
Yep, big advocates for. What is it?
It is advocating for your dog in public.
So, if we say we want to advocate for our dog in public, what does it actually mean? What does that look like for someone?
It essentially means knowing where your dog's comfort levels are with a certain thing. It might be other dogs, it might be people, it might be kids, it might be
Car going past?
Yep. Yeah, maybe. And knowing when you need to have their back, essentially.
Okay. So you take Fox for a walk fairly regularly downtown, a lot more regularly than I go downtown for a walk. So give us an instance where you might have been having a tootle around town and you've advocated for Fox or stuck up for him.
So we've probably run into the same lady at least twice. And the first time I ran into her, Fox was maybe a little bit over one. And we were walking down the main street and she came out, there's this little alleyway. She came out from there and we were probably, 10 metres away from her, and she stopped and she looked at him and she asked me if he was friendly, which probably annoys me straight off the back to start with because, just because a dog is friendly doesn't mean you get access to them. And two, if you're putting a person in a situation where they might have to say no, their dog's not friendly, then that can cause other issues because then it's like the dog's not friendly.
So
sometimes just on that though, your dog might be friendly. It might just be struggling in that situation.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. So it's probably a trigger point of a question to ask me. But I just said he is, but he's training, which is what I say to a lot of people, whether he is or he isn't, just because he is friendly, and I just don't want him to think that, and he doesn't think after, we've had him for nearly 2 years, and he can walk down a street and not think that every person is going to talk to him or touch him, or, and I also think that, dogs don't have to be touched all the time by random people. That's another thing we'll probably get into. And she started following us, telling me how much she loved dogs, which I was like, okay, yep, great. We're just trying to go for a walk. I've got my headphones in, and of course we got to the traffic lights and it was red. So she caught up to us, and was still telling me how much she loves dogs and how much of a dog lover she was. And as Fox was only young, so he was getting quite excited because this person was talking to him in a high-pitched voice, and she leant down as he went to jump up on her, which is what I didn't want, which was the whole point of me saying, no, you can't touch him. As he went to jump up, she wrapped her arms around his neck and buried her face in his head. And I pulled him out and moved. The traffic lights went green then, and I just moved him on. And she was still at the corner of the traffic lights asking me why I'd done it and how much I'd the whole of this corner, it was a busy intersection in Ulverston. People were watching the whole interaction. But I had said about 3 or 4 times into the lead up to that, initially that he's training. I'd asked her about 2 times before she actually don't touch him, please don't touch him. And I am just very lucky that I have a dog that coped in that situation.
Yeah, because that's pretty hard. Like, number one, you're in a busy spot, like downtown. You've got a stranger coming up. And then on top of that, the stranger does something that you've asked not to do. And not just does something that you've asked not to do, actually, which, I mean, I don't think any of us would predict that someone would put their arms around a dog's neck and then bury their face in their head.
No, and when I've told this story to other people, they've been like, what? Or like, oh my God, really? Like, it sounds, honestly, if someone told me, I'd be like, do you really think that happened? But trust me, it happened. And we have run into her in other places, and she continues to say, I'm such a dog lover. And it's like, that's okay. That doesn't mean you have access to my dog. Fox was at the traffic lights. This was only a few months ago. And she came up behind us. I didn't even know she was there. And she grabbed him on the bum and started patting him, and he jumped because it was like, hell, what's that? And then she told me I was rude for telling her not to touch my dog. So, this is where, and I think this is why we want to do this episode, because it's these types of interactions that put people off advocating for their dogs.
Yeah, because it's hard, and you want to be nice to people, you want to be polite, you don't want to be nasty, especially if you're in a busy place. So why are you laughing?
I probably don't care about being nice or polite. If I'm never going to see that person again, I'd rather stick up for my dog, but that's me.
Yeah,
and that's probably why I'm laughing, because I'm just thinking we've got different approaches. And I mean, I don't think I'm nasty to people, but I'm firm.
Yeah.
But I think I'm like that as a person.
But I think
you can tell me.
Yeah, you are, and it probably is easier for you. But a lot of people, and that's when they come to a session, and we say, try to avoid this or that, and that's what they struggle with. And they're out there, a lot of them, just trying to do a bit of training with their dog. They might be just trying to move past something. They might be just trying to get the dog to focus on them, whatever it is. And then you've got distractions of people coming up. And it's nice. We all want people to like our dogs because we love our dogs, and it's nice that there's dog lovers out there. That's fantastic, and it's great that someone likes your dog, but you need to also be able to go, oh, okay, yep, you're training, or I can just say from here, you've got a nice dog and I love dogs.
So many people like that, I'll be walking in Ulverston somewhere and people say, oh, that's a beautiful dog, or what a beautiful colour, or he gets a lot of compliments about his colour because it's not common. And there are a lot of people out there that do the right thing. I think, unfortunately, a lot of things, and we'll get into, I suppose, advocating with off-lead dogs and dogs coming up when you don't want them to come up as well, because it's not just people. Well, it still is people. It's just people with dogs. But there are so many people out there that do the right thing and ask. I was going to try and find a Facebook post because a lady that we both follow put up not that long ago, and I don't know, I feel like I say to you all the time, I don't know if I've actually said this, have you seen this, but she put up about why Europe doesn't seem to have the same problems that we do. And we have discussed this, if people want to go back to our dog-friendly places really early on in that. Lisa, who we talked to, lived in Europe with her dogs, and she's the first to say that the difference seems to be that people in Europe don't expect to be able to go up and touch dogs. They don't expect to be able to bring their dogs up to dogs.
Yeah, they've already got that expectation, where here we've got the expectation that you can just, dogs are a public property, and if you like dogs, you can just go up to random dogs and pat them and cuddle them.
Or bring your dogs up. The November long weekend, remember when we were in Bunnings and some people had stopped you because they were like, oh, your dog looks like our dog, and they were from the same breeder. And Zanny was in the trolley because and he
And likes
thinks
the
you live
trolley.
in the trolley in Bunnings. And Fox was on the ground. He's never been really in a trolley. Actually, I don't think he's ever been in a trolley at Bunnings. I think I've just walked him his whole life. And we were just waiting while you were talking to these people, and a lady brought a cavoodle up, and I just said, you know, that's right. She was going, oh, there's a dog. Do you want to say hello to the dog? And I just sort of stuck my leg out and said, I don't want him to say hello, thank you. And she looked really shocked.
Yeah.
And she did. She went, oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. And then we saw her in another aisle and she moved the dog out of the way. Like, there was no problem. But the expectation is that if a dog, or it seems to be that the expectation is if a dog is in public, people can go up to it, dogs can go up to it. And there's such a big emphasis on teaching kids or saying to kids, like, you know, we hear it when we're out with our service dogs. Oh, that dog's got a jacket on, you can't touch that. Or you go up and ask if you can touch the dog. But we won't. We teach that to kids.
And then we forget about it.
But adults seem to forget about it.
And sometimes if we've got another dog, we forget about it.
Yes. Yeah, because, you know, our dog's friendly or it likes dogs or it needs to say hello so it can move on, but that's not actually thinking
Or
about.
it's pulling their owner to or their caregiver to your dog.
Yeah,
Like,
well, and there was one the other day when we were with an assistance dog, wasn't there? And
Yep.
we stopped, and this dog was like a little dog that was pulling like a husky,
train.
and we stopped and went off to the side, so he stopped.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, this is all sort of relevant, but I suppose this is where we want people to know that unfortunately it is normal.
Mm.
And unfortunately it does mean you have to stick up for your dog in certain situations.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that.
No. Especially if you're never going to see that person again.
Yeah, yeah, and even if you are, you know, you don't have to be rude, and most people aren't rude when they're saying, you know, please don't come up to my dog, or they might be saying, my dog's a bit reactive, or they might say my dog doesn't like other dogs. Sometimes dogs don't like people for, you know, various reasons. You don't know what someone's dog's been through, or it might be my dog's in training. So any of those sorts of things, they're not rude. Sometimes, though, other people just ignore what you're saying and continue on. So sometimes you do have to, you know, just hold your ground, be a little bit firmer with what you say. Sometimes even, and I've sort of done that occasionally if you're in a tight spot. And I think we did it. I did it one day at a market down when we were down Hobart. Someone came up and we were in a tight area, and I just actually put myself between Zan and another dog, so the dog actually couldn't get to him. And again, the owners are like, you know, my dog's friendly. It's fine. It's like, yep, that's fine. It's, you know, I'm happy that your dog's friendly. I've got a friendly dog too. I just don't want them interacting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there's lots of different circumstances where it happens. Lots of different reasons it happens. I think a good thing is, though, if you've got a word, or if you've got a sentence, I guess, to say. You know, if you think before you go out, if someone comes up to me, what am I going to say? And if you've got that line prepared, and it might be as simple as, no, I'm in training at the moment. I don't want your dog to come up, or I don't want you to pat my dog. Well, then you've got something to say. You're not going, what am I going to say? I don't want to be rude. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. If you've got it already prepared when you go out, you can just say that. And another tip is if they say, oh, no, my dog's fine, it's friendly, or I love dogs, I just want to pat it, you just repeat what you've said.
Yeah, I think just jumping back a step, I think the problem I have found, and I know I've had clients that have found it too, but I have stopped saying he's in training as much as what I used to, for a few reasons, but the big one is just what you said then, is that everyone's a dog expert. So if you're going to have someone that pushes, and some people will just go, oh, yep, that's fine, and they respect it, but other people will then use it as a door to push and go to that next step. So sometimes, like, Yeah, especially if you're not sure, or not sure how you're going to approach it. I think the easiest thing is just to say no. Sorry, no, not today.
Yeah, well, that's a good option too. Good, a good thought process,
Yeah.
that one.
But it can be harder if a dog is coming up than just a single person, because usually the dog is probably, I shouldn't say always, but at the end of the lead wanting to get to the dog because that dog probably has an expectation that it can just go up to every dog. So it might be looking at where you go for a walk. Is there going to be enough room that if you do see something, you can just divert, or you can just get off the path enough, or you can, if they're going to follow you, you can go a different way. Which is, easier said than done in a lot of places. I remember when he was really little, we were at the park and where the off-lead beach comes off, and a lot of people, because it's not that far from the beach to the car park, won't put their dogs on the lead, even though it's supposed to be on the lead. And we had a little terrier run up, and it was friendly, but he was like 10 weeks old. And I picked him up, and I had this bloke saying to me, "It's fine, she won't hurt him." I'm like, "I don't care. I don't know your dog. Come and get it." And again, I mean, I'm probably someone who is just going to not care and say things. I don't think I say nasty things, do I? But hey,
No, you're just firm.
yeah. But I think for me, my dog's emotional safety, and not even just their emotional safety, I suppose at times it can be their physical safety too, but is more important than someone else's feelings or someone else's dog.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to think of your dog, and exactly what you said, physical or mental, safety, and that's what you want to stick up for. So sometimes it is jumping in, and if you think it with kids, if someone was going to do something or come up and grab your kid, or say something to your kid, you probably just jump straight in without even thinking.
So many things with it. If you take a dog out and put a kid in, like if my kid's friendly, or oh, I've had 5 kids, it's If you take dog out and put kid in, all of a sudden you don't sound as good.
Yeah, and exactly. But if you think about what you'd do if it was a child, you'd probably just you would advocate for them. You would stick up. You would jump in. Move away. Yeah. So it's just doing the same for our dogs so that they can move on. And basically do, if you just want to peacefully go for a walk, listen to a podcast or something, and not be bothered by other people, which is sometimes just what you want to do.
Yeah.
So, just saying no when you need to, good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, unfortunately, I think it's something that probably is going to get harder before it gets easier as dogs are allowed into more spaces. I think it's fantastic that we've got so many more dog-friendly spaces, cafes, accommodations, all of these sorts of things, but I don't think the education is quite keeping up with where it is. And I think for a lot of dogs, it actually is a welfare issue to have, their bubble looked after, I suppose. And it's the same for excited. We're probably talking about dogs that need space. People might be thinking of more anxious or scared dogs, but overexcited dogs need it too.
Oh, yes.
They don't need to know that everything in the world is accessible. They need to know, and I probably haven't said it before on here, but we've discussed Fox could be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, he is a very friendly dog. He loves everyone. So, if he was allowed to go up and say hello to everyone that wants to say hello to him.
Every dog that wants to say hello to him.
Yeah, he'd just be pulling you to everyone he saw. Which is the problem. A lot of people's dogs, that's what they're used to. And
it's what we think it's what socialisation has been painted to be for a long time, and it is starting to move away from that. which is good. And there's, still a lot more education to be done, but we take the social from socialization, and like socialization really, it needs a rebrand as a, not as a dog world, it needs a rebrand because it's not doing a lot of dogs justice.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Which maybe it will do at some stage, but I think it's a good point whether that things aren't keeping up with the dog world, and our expectations aren't keeping up with the dog world. So it'd be good if we could educate more, and the expectation was that you just said hello at a distance. You respected whatever the person says, because sometimes we hear if someone says, "Please don't come up to my dog," they can get a bit of an earful, which isn't necessary. And isn't very nice, and probably puts them off, advocating for their dog in the future. But I think as humans, we need to respect dogs a bit more and respect what their caregivers say. If we ask if we can go up to them.
I think the other side of it too is something, to consider, for people to consider, is where your dog might be at a certain point too. So if you feel like you're taking them to cafes and you're constantly having to say, no, don't come up to my dog, like maybe look at where you're sitting in the cafe. Maybe look if that cafe is the best cafe to go to. Maybe look if your dog's actually enjoying the environment at all, or if they're too overstimulated, too overwhelmed, and go, okay, well, let's just park that for the moment and work back to getting to there.
Yeah, especially if you've got a younger dog, and then again, once our dogs get to senior dogs, we need to look at them again and see where they're at, see where they're comfortable at, and reassess if we need to.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think probably the biggest takeaway we want for people is that it is okay to stick up for your dog. Nobody else is going to stick up for your dog.
No, they're not. So you need to.
Yes.
And sometimes, jump in front of them, jump in between something, say no a few times, and maybe get a little bit firmer like you.
I don't think you want everyone to be as firm as me. You reckon I'm too firm?
Just in that, you can still be friendly and polite and nice, but just firm.
Yeah.
That's a good one. A big passion of ours, just advocating for your dogs. Don't forget to give us a follow if you enjoy us. That will push us out to more people that can get the information from us that they'd like.
Yes, leave us a 5-star review if you haven't already. And if this is something that you want to talk more about, you want help with, leave a comment here, reach out to us through socials, reach out to us through our website. It's something that we deal with a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So we'll be glad to help.
Yep. I reckon that will wrap this one up.
Terrific.
All right, we'll see everyone in the next one.